No, this is you can come on in here, dude.
All right.
Hello, everybody. Russel,
Hey.
Oozlefinch, Kenny
with Hop
Kenny
Culture.
with Hop Culture. So we are starting out our social media panel with Eli Trax and Ben Brewdaddy. Hang on. Apparently, I'm still Rachel. Edit name.
Russ. You're Russ.
Ross.
Hey, Rachel.
Oozlefinch. And I'm Kenny. Hop Culture Ken.
Oozlefinch.
There you go.
Boom. All right. So,
Boom.
done. All right. So, we're going to start out. I am going to introduce Eli Trax and Ben Brewdaddy. Both are social media who we consider influencers in the beer industry. And we are excited to have them on. They both asked me to kind of share a little bit about what we loved about them and why we wanted them to be a part of this whole thing. We do have Hop Snobbery as well as La Petite Beer will be on later as well. But for Eli and Ben Brewdaddy, I think for me, the photography and the skills that they have with the photography that they do, and Eli her editing is on point. She does all kinds of really, really, really awesome stuff. And Matt here, Ben Brewdaddy, does some really cool balancing techniques. He does all kinds of really awesome things, uses a bunch of, I don't know, some type of mirrored stuff for photography all the time, which looks super, super killer. And so, yeah, as far as we're concerned, you guys are some of the best on Instagram for killer photography. And so that's why we wanted to bring you on. So welcome to the first half of our social media influencer. All right, let's get started. Eli,
Yes.
when and why did you start your account? What was the motivation for that?
My account came actually probably a lot later, definitely later than Ben Brewdaddy's over here. I've been actually working as a product photographer for, God, I'm going to date myself, but at least a decade. Only got into kind of craft beer and was sitting on the sidelines and seeing all these really neat photos of people doing beer photography on Instagram. And at that point, they say don't choose your hobby as your day job. I think I was getting a little burnt out on photography. So shooting beers creatively for myself and kind of experimenting, and it just made me have fun with photography again. So that was kind of the inspiration and why I'm still doing it, years later.
Great. That's awesome. What about you, Matt?
Well, for me, it was necessity. I've been a photographer my whole life, and I chose to separate my beer photography from my family photography and from my other styles of photography, mainly nature photography. That's kind of where I was taking a lot of shots. Everybody's a nature photographer. So once I separated the beer photography from my regular photography and created the name Ben Brewdaddy and started my Instagram, that's kind of where I started to take things into a different direction, as well as using what I've done before, and that's using perspective shifts and angles, and tilting everything. I'm going to be talking about how to angle your glass in a little bit. It's kind of a fun thing to do. But anyway, just applying what I know from photography into what I love about beer. It's like smashing two passions together. Why I got started doing what I do.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate what you do, both of you. You absolutely, like I said, you kill it. And also, I didn't mention this at the beginning, but if you guys are interested in following either of these two, their Instagram handles are on here, so feel free to go on and like their page and follow them. My next question is kind of your ethos or how you approach photography. Can both of you tell me a little more about how you approach photography?
Do you want to go first, Matthew?
Well, mine's pretty simple. I usually just look outside and check the current weather conditions and the view that I have from my front porch, and then the chore then is to go to the fridge, and out of the many beers I have 5 beer fridges in my house, and so
Oh my God.
Right. So it's
excessive.
looking for the right. It's looking for the right label. It's looking for the right beer style. It's looking for the right feel, and then it goes into taking that beer outside with the right glassware, setting up shots. I usually do 2 or 3 shots and try to figure out the right angle. And of course, I've got to like tilt everything on an angle, and so everything gets a little weird for a few minutes. But I spend maybe 10 or 15 minutes on a shot, but it's not anything where I'm obsessing about the shot. I need to get the beer in my mouth. End game.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I could not be any more different with I'm typically inspired by the label art or the beer name. It's going in my fridge and being like, oh, seeing something, and whether it's the design or the name, just being inspired by that, and then thinking like, what's the craziest or most beautiful way for me to photograph that? And then my studio is not in nature, mine's in my house where I can control most of the elements. And basically I try and do most things in camera, but sometimes I just have this vision and I end up, spending some time in Photoshop too, especially with shots that are some of my splash shots or dropping things. I'm constantly dropping things in beer and making a mess. And it's always fun. It's fun to clean up after drinking a warm beer.
Warm beer and cleaning up are not the fun parts.
No.
All right. That's awesome. Can you tell us a little bit more about, specifically, Matt, I'm interested in your balancing stuff, which I think Eli is as well, as we talked about this the other day. But also, Eli, after that, if you could tell us more about kind of your editing skills and how you approach some of that.
Sure.
So balancing, I'm going to tilt my laptop down here. I've got the cool glass, the cool Oozlefinch. Oh, the beers we shall drink today. And then if you see the angle on the glass, there's a bevel on the bottom, and the same is on cans. The cans have that same bevel. So this is going to probably look a little weird. Whoa. Maybe if I did it that way. There we go. Okay, you can kind of see that with a little more liquid in there. If I was set up with but see, I already drank this beer, and I was going to transport it into that beer. But you can see it's balancing right now on that bevel. The more liquid in there, the more solid that will get. Another trick I use especially if I'm on a smooth surface, is I'll just pick up some sand or salt or something to sprinkle it on the table, set it there, and then you can blow away the remaining sand and still have your free kind of tilting glass. This thing wants to dance around. Well, we're all dancing around today. FML day. But anyway, I wasted enough time on that.
That's magic.
I'm gonna break out a can later. I'll let Eli talk about.
See, if I did that shot, I've done balancing shots, but I cannot seem to get it to balance. I also didn't know your sand and salt trick, so I might have to do that, and then I'll give you a little shout out on that one for the master. So if I were to do that, I would probably set up something where I actually have it either taped on the back to like a stick or something where I could actually kind of control it at the angle and have it pretty secure. I don't know. I mean, like, I'm just shocked that things don't blow over in the wind with you, because like I knock things over in the studio all the time. So I try and do similar stuff, but I'm just much more clumsy. So as far as my types of shots, like I said, it's much more studio based. Even some of the shots that I do where it looks like maybe isn't a studio shot, it's often still lit lit with studio lights or strobes, or bringing in diffusion and black cards and white cards, which is also something I think you can do. I do when I go on location and shoot at breweries. I often bring that stuff with me too, and chopsticks. I have lots of little fun things. My backpack of goodies.
That's awesome. That's actually one of the questions that we're getting ready to go to. Actually, which is the next question. What are the essentials that you need to bring with you, Eli?
Yes, got it. Chopsticks, for sure. If you follow me on Instagram, I try and do behind the scenes stories sometimes where I'll do a little bit of this stuff. And wooden chopsticks tend to react with beer. So if you're taking a while to get your shot, the wood and the chopsticks, give it a little agitation. It'll foam back up. Be gentle. People have yelled at me that their beer is foamed over because of my advice. So just go gentle. I also, everyone likes a clean beer glass, but occasionally you get a little weird bubbles. You could also use plastic chopsticks or a straw to get rid of those. I will say a lot of, I think personally, side light and backlit photos look the best, but that's really hard with beer sometimes and glassware. So that's where white card and black card come in. And basically you could even just get a white sheet of paper and you will basically take the light. If it's coming from behind, you could put the white card here right out of the frame and it will illuminate the front face of the glass and actually give a really nice gradient. So for sure, white card and black card to basically shape the light, and then diffusion too. So it could be like a sheet or a bath, a kind of semi-opaque bathroom, like shower curtain. You could use linen, you could use silk. There's all sorts of things, or you could just go out and buy the expensive stuff on photo sites. But those are kind of my go-to. And of course, I like high-speed strobes for dropping things in beer because that just captures, freezes the motion. So that's kind of my bag. I'm much less about the actual camera than I am about the things that can help shape the light.
Nice. What about you, Matt?
Well, I'm holding one of them right here. We were talking about lighting, and this is really good. I mean, it's supposed to connect to the top of the camera, but this thing has 64 LED lights on it. I don't want to blind everybody, but wow. I can send that through or behind a glass to get. I wish I had beer in this. Again, I'm like, help, I need beer. Right now, I'm just blinding everybody, but you can see what this could do through a hazy beer. I started doing this when haze beers started to become popular because you can't get, a beer's coming. Oh, this is going to be great. Yay.
Here, do this.
Hey, it's my friend Chris. We're at
Hello.
Beer Stop, Redmond.
Working hard.
Yep.
Awesome.
Go help the customers. Geez. So I can kind of demonstrate. This is the clear beer, but whoa. Anyway, that's too intense. At nighttime, when I do sunset shots, I usually use this guy to add some light. I also have just your tactical flashlight from a distance, trying to get the label nailed down by just kind of coming back and I'm going to use this glass again. I'm going to use this all day long. I love this glass. Nice work, y'all. Nice work.
Glass. There we go.
Yo, so I mean, if I were to try to shine some light on that, I think I had it better this way. Yeah. Sure. So to get label art on a can or a bottle, I'll stand, I'll have the camera in one hand and I'll have my arm here, unless my wife is available to stand further back. I'm usually doing some shit like this. Oh, swore. Is that okay that I swore?
We don't know yet. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Anyway, I have that. Other things I use. I usually keep this with me. It's this cool, reflective thing, and it's got like a warm light, the gold on the inside. But this is the best part ever. It's just a great little thing where I can hold this up and diffuse light.
Pop out diffusion.
If I had 4 or 5 more hands, Ben Brewdaddy would be even more bigger than he is today.
That's awesome.
I try to do everything natural. I don't like to. I don't know. I'll leave it to Eli to do all the
Yeah.
magic
Finish up
stuff
magic.
finish up. I mean, we should team up is what we should do. Holy shit.
I think there's a collab in
Old
order.
school.
I'm in.
Do it.
I think there
I'm
is.
down.
Yeah.
We'll make the beer for it. You guys can do
Mm.
All right, now I'm definitely in.
All right, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Tips and tricks. I think we've kind of been going over that with this last one, but tips and tricks that you use to any other ones, Matt? I know you've shared a few already. I think the sand one is brilliant, by the way.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, you know how the can has a clip at the top?
Yes.
So you clip it and then it stays there. So if you clip the can, you can clip the can to your glass. I wish I had a can to do this with right now. And that's how I do the shots where the can is actually connected to the glass. What other tricks? As you can see from this guy here, I can also squeeze a glass into the into a barbed wire fence successfully without spilling it over.
I would just spill so much beer. I mean, I already do, but like.
But again, like this one here, this is just all perspective shift.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
really
definitely.
the shot. So it's this way, but that way. It's weird talking about your own stuff like that.
Hey, you do it really well. So
Thank you.
Eli,
Appreciate that.
What about you, man?
I will say one more tip that I am a big fan of that I was just thinking of is I like to keep my beer very cold until the last second. So I often use a stand-in can because while I'm setting up, that beer will get warm. I mean, the beer's already going to be warm, but the nice thing about a cold beer, and sometimes we'll even put it in the freezer and then take it out, 15 minutes, put it in the freezer and take it out like 15 minutes later for the shot, is the condensation on the glass when you introduce that cold beer to a room temperature room actually spreads the light and really nicely wraps it around the can. So I've had a lot of people reach out to me and ask me like, how do you get the lighting so nice on your can? I could show you a shot with a cold can that's empty with the same exact lighting that's going to look super ugly because you get that harsh highlight on the can versus where the light just wraps around. And that's all thanks to the condensation of the cold beer warming in room temperature. So that was one I thought of. There was something else, but now I can't remember it.
That's okay. We've got Q&A later, so we'll be able to do some of that. Last question before we switch over to the other two folks we're going to bring on, and then we'll be bringing you all back for Q&A with everybody here in a little bit. But Eli, I know I started following you when you had 1,000-something followers. I think you have 8,000 now, which is great. And Matt, you have 20.
Almost 22.9, 23.1.
I checked it just before we came on to make sure that I had this one right. You have 21.8 thousand.
There we go.
So, talk about growing your base and your following.
I mean, as the like baby in the group, I guess, in that sense, I can probably defer a lot of this to Le Petit and Hop Snobbery and Matt on that one. I will say in my own account, when I've been more active, posting every day, that's definitely helped. And when I've had more time to engage, that's definitely helped build my base. I've been just bad about that recently. And I'm fine with that because ultimately I think that like I'm really more interested lately, especially in the last year or two, in the quality of followers. So one thing that I kind of got into a couple years ago as a joke was not as a joke, but I remember I switched over my personal account to a business profile. So Instagram gives you those analytics, and I opened it up and I was like, oh my God, there's only like, I think it was like 14% of women that followed me. And I was like,
oh, wow.
that's kind of unbelievable to me. So I started a hashtag as a joke on Woman Crush Wednesday because everyone knows Woman Crush Wednesday. And I'm like, there's so many awesome, like badass beer babes posting photos. So I started the Women Crush Cans Wednesday hashtag kind of just for fun and it's stuck around now. We've had like about 3,000 to 2,500, 3,000 posts, and every Wednesday we get on, and it's been so satisfying, and that's kind of where it's been. I've grown this much larger female follower base that
awesome.
it really is quality and counts to me, because I've met some of those women in real life, and it's been great. So,
That's
but
cool.
I would love to know what everyone else does, because you guys are awesome.
Spill it, Matt.
Well, man, for me, it was more when I started. I was one of the first ones to be on Instagram taking weird beer photos. And I think if I remember, the names back then were the beer truck. Anybody remember the beer truck? Anyway, I hope maybe he's watching out there. Drewski was another one. Anyway, there were a few of us at the beginning, and so yeah, I guess I am the grandfather of beer photography on Instagram. But I think it's when I started back before, right? Back before the my tie-dye shirt says it all. Look at I'm an old hippie. Great notion. Yeah.
I love it. Hey,
anyway, so I think it's when I started. The algorithm wasn't in place yet on Instagram, so I was getting 1,500 likes on a photo every time I posted it, and then once the algorithm crashed down and everybody just started leveling out, was when we started to see an influx of more beer photographers, and a lot of them are using styles that I do, and that's very flattering to me. But also I see a bunch of stuff that I'm trying to duplicate now. And what I love about this whole scene is doesn't matter what kind of a photographer, you can use your phone. In fact, you can use your phone with what the phones do these days, even better than some bigger cameras, especially where you can go with them. But I'm inspired by so many other people now, especially Eli. Her post-production stuff is just amazing, and I wish I had that in me. But
that's why we need to do a collab.
A collab.
I'm in.
Totally.
FML 2021.
Yeah. But I mean, I think as far as the growth part of it, I grew so big in the early days. I think I got to 10,000 followers by 2015, and so from there it's been a steady chug uphill, and then a little chug downhill. And you said I'm sitting at 21.8. I think I was up to 23,000 at one point, and I've fallen down because I'm not that active on Instagram right now, because I'm using my beer knowledge and tools to run 2 tap rooms. One's opening up in Portland soon, and Chris and I have big plans for Beer Stop, and a lot of it is the design. Like, we want all the artwork to look like this in the tap room. And anyway, it's been a wild ride. Beer has saved my life so many times over. It's amazing.
That's awesome. All right. Well, I am going to cut to the other two. Don't go anywhere. We're going to bring you back on here shortly for the Q&A. But thank you guys, and I'll talk to you here in a second.
Yeah. Have fun, y'all.
All right. We are bringing on 2 more folks. Hello.
Hiya.
Can you guys hear us?
Salut.
Good.
All
good.
right.
And you?
Hey, Helen, I think you're muted there.
Did I fix
There
it?
she is.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hey!
Gotcha.
hey.
How are you all?
Good.
Great.
Doing
It's
very
Saturday
good.
afternoon, and it's sunny, and yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'll do a quick introduction. Basically, probably 2 of the first beer accounts that I started following were you all. And you're going to have to, Emily, you're going to have to say it for me. La Petite.
La petite bière?
Yeah. That's it. All right. And Hop Snobbery. And so Emily is La Petite, Helen is Hop Snobbery. Emily also has Carl with her, who does a lot of her photographs. He's an amazing photographer. And
Thank you.
If you follow Emily at all, then you'll see his links, and he does some really, really cool stuff. So, all right. All that said, I'm going to ask you some quick questions. These sessions have been going by really, really, really fast. So we're gonna see if we can speed it up a little bit, and and that way we have time for Q&A afterwards. But appreciate y'all being on. How did both y'all get into craft beer, and why did you start your accounts?
Emily, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So what brought me into craft beer is this guy.
Yeah, Carl.
He was tired to see
Perfect.
me only drink white ales. So we said we're gonna change that, and he introduced me to IPAs, and since then, the student surpassed the teacher.
Yes, the students surpass the master.
So, and I
Great.
started my Instagram account because I am also an actress. I'm working a lot on the French side of Canadian television, and I had like a hole in my career. It was like no phone calls, no audition, no nothing. So instead of going crazy, I said, oh, I should, start something I have control over. So I was hesitating between politics and beer, but politics is so mean with women that I thought, beer is going to be a safer space. So that's why I started La Petite Bière, to be able to do something else than just wait for the phone to ring. So
Awesome. That's awesome. Politics, beer. Politics, beer. I'm gonna choose beer every single time. But no, my story is completely different. An old friend of mine was like, "I'm drinking this beer. It's so good," and I'm like, "Beer? That's disgusting. Like, what are you talking about?" And he introduced me to my first craft beer, and from there, I'm like, "Is this what beer tastes like? Like, what?" And it opened up a whole new world that I never knew that I needed. And the fact that there are so many different types of beers and different types of breweries out there, it just made me want to know more. And that's the reason, like, my account used to be my personal account, and then I transitioned it over into this business account. And it was just, I wanted to share with people what I was drinking because I had no idea that this type of stuff even existed. And I just wanted to share what I had. And from there, it grew into what it is now. And now we have a strawberry.
That's awesome. So what are you guys drinking? We said we'd ask this question.
Yes.
Emily, your beer looks green.
yes, it is green.
Oh, man, I haven't gotten to that one yet.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's very special.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure by reading the ingredients for a sour, but no, it works really well. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so
Yeah.
excited. I'll tell you what I'm drinking.
Ellen?
What are you
I
drinking?
am drinking Bandito
Oh,
from
I
Tripping
got it.
Animals.
This one
Shout
is
out
great.
Miami.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
these guys are so amazing, and everything they put out is just,
Killer.
it's just so good. And I'm super picky about Mosaic hops, and this is a pale ale with Mosaic. So for me to say that I love it is just hardcore, and it's a phenomenal beer.
Yeah, it's cool that it's triple dry hop.
Yes, it's amazing.
Yeah. Very good.
Cool. I am drinking one that's called Don't Be Weird, and it's a new one that we released today. But it is it's got a bunch of different fruits in it: raspberry, pineapple. Put some coconut in there. What else is in there, Kenny? I don't remember.
I saw the color and I'm like, what are you drinking?
Yeah, don't be weird. Something
The name
that my
itself.
the staff literally tell me that every day, so that's how we came up with it. So,
Amazing.
all right, let's see. I'm going to skip over some of these questions because I know we're not going to get through this whole list that I
Oh
sent you
shit!
guys. Right?
That's a book.
So let's see. What do you ensure that you always have on you to make sure that you're ready for the right shot? And I know we talked about this a little bit the other day, Emily, and one of the things you told me was I thought funny. So yes, it's backwards. You gotta.
So yeah, well, we don't always have, the right environment to do our pictures. So Carl and I always have a few empty can in the trunk. When we see a great spot, we go, okay, let's stop the car here and just take a picture. So yeah, and we do that a lot.
Yeah, and the other half would be at our place. I have a studio, so we just pull down a backdrop and just use the flashes and the studio equipment and do something different inside than what we do outside.
Yeah, Carl loves colors. So when, for example, we see, this color, he's like, oh my god, I have a backdrop the same exact green. Let's use it.
And I have
That's
gels,
awesome.
colored gels of other colors that in the
That's
design.
killer.
So yeah, I like to play with colors with that. Yes.
That's awesome. What about you, Helen?
Okay, I'm a mom. So
Different situation.
it is completely different. I am never ready for the right shot. It wasn't like I used to be, where it was, I have a couple days to really think about the beer and what kind of setup that I want with it. And it's like, I have 2 minutes. All right, hold on. Let's go to the stairwell where the lighting's the best, or let's go over here and take a quick shot. I'm never ready. I'm just not. I fly by the seat of my pants. I'm telling you, it's the complete opposite. I
Well,
want
you
a
do it well.
girl. Thank you.
Alex is there for you, though.
He is, but he's also very busy. He picks up where I'm not there, and it's like. But I'm telling you, Alex is like so much more creative than I am, and he's always in that creative mindset. And I'm like, can I please have some? Give me some.
That's great. That's great. All right. So, speaking of give you some of his creativity, I think you were the one that was talking about this on the call the other day. Was lacking inspiration. So, what do you do when you're lacking inspiration but you need a post?
When I'm lacking inspiration, I have learned that life is crazy, and that inspiration isn't always there. And when I push for it, I'm like, come on, be creative, like do the things that you're supposed to do. I have to stop. I have to take a couple steps back and be like, you know what? If the creativity's not there, then I have to wait for it to come to me. You can't force that kind of thing. I used to be an art major, and that was like a huge thing for me, where it's like my teachers are telling me to do something, and I'm like, you can't tell me how to be creative. Like, no, I just have to take a step back. Simple as that.
Good deal. What about you, Emily?
Yeah.
So
sometimes Emily does stuff to feed her Instagram. Oop, there's a bean. Okay.
Sorry, that was me.
Yeah, sometimes she needs to feed her Instagram, so we just do whatever we want to. But sometimes she has ordered gigs that we have to produce specific,
on a very specific timing.
specific material or specific timing. So we have to force the creativity in these times. But we have a bank of inspirations and photos that we see on Instagram that are cool enough to apply to our life and business. So
we have a bank.
We have a bank, so we have a look in that and inspire us to create something. We never do exactly the same thing we see on the photos, but we get inspired.
It's an inspo.
Yeah.
I love
That's
it.
awesome.
So when it's harder, we just go look in the bank. Oh, okay, this, that. Okay, there's a beach close. Okay, let's do that shot. Yeah. So
and also a big part of just being by myself for a few hours and thinking about, okay, how will I organize all that stuff and all those technical specification and stuff like that. So think
awesome.
Think a lot of it about it before it's created.
Cool. Good deal. Let's talk a little bit about your brands. How do you kind of define your brand, and how do you stay true to that? We'll start with you, Emily. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. So, my brand is something like it's for mostly for women. Like I said, I want to democratize beer. I want people to be less scared of drinking beer, but I also want more women in the industry because we're so yes. Thank you, Instagram, for this. Because if I had an Instagram, I didn't before Instagram. I didn't know there was so many women in the industry, but not enough.
Yes.
But there's a lot. Anyway, so yeah, so
Yeah.
it's very inclusive, and I like La Petite Bière is actually a French expression that it's like it's small potatoes. So it's it's fun, it's easy, it's not hard. It's all about fun and craft beer. So those are my two like straight lines that I like to follow. Guidelines, yeah. That I like to follow. Be as more inclusive as I can, and always make it fun. So I don't bash any beers. I only talk about what I like. I mean, life's too short to be negative, people. Let's just talk about what we like. I mean, if you want to talk about something bad, talk about the war, not about this beer is whatever. Please, use your voice for something. So yeah, that's what I want to represent with my brand and what I want people to see.
I totally understand that too. And it's like, I was looking at the, like, what's my brand? And it's like, I'm a brand that's just kind of all over the place. Like that's just who I am. I'm very low key. I'm very chill, but it's about, being a woman in the whole craft beer industry, and we'll get to that later. But it's, I'm myself. I don't try to stray from who I am, and what I am is just like, I like craft beer. Simple as that. And like I said, I started my whole Instagram based off of I like beer and I want to share with people what I like, and I'm very low key and I like what I like. I post what I like. There's no time for negativity, like Emily said. And I try to follow through with that. I don't post things that I don't like. I don't believe in, oh, you have this beer, but you have to post it because it's so hype. Hype? Hype? Yeah, it's so hype. Like, you just want to be in with the cool kids. It's not about that. Like, I post what I like. I stay true to what I like. If I don't like it, I don't want to share that negativity out there. There's no time for negative energy. It's just positive vibes, I guess.
Yes.
Love it.
That's it. That's me.
Absolutely love it. All right. Well, let me pull up my phone real quick. I did a screenshot today to see how many followers you guys both have. So combined, it's over 50,000, which is great.
Whoa.
Emily has way more than me.
Helen has 22.1. Emily has 33.7.
So cool.
So my main purpose for doing this is I've been trying to figure out, how to up my following a little bit, which is 957 people as of this morning. But so I asked, this is the surprise I was telling you about that I'm really stoked about, because we like to have fun here too. And sometimes we have some beers and we get crazy ideas. And this was my beer and ideas yesterday. So I asked you guys, or you ladies both, what picture do you feel either started your influencer status, or do you feel best defines you? And you both sent me a picture. And I don't think I have the picture by itself, but who do we want to start with? We want to start with Helen or Emily?
You do what you want to do.
All right, I'm going to start with Helen's picture, just because as soon as I show this picture, Emily, you'll see where I'm going with this. All right, so Rebecca's on the background. Rebecca, can you make this work?
I'm so excited for this.
Do your magic, Rebecca.
There it is.
Oh my gosh!
Beno!
So,
my headphones fell out. That is amazing.
So
Wait, hold on. Wait, let me get my phone. Hold on.
I always screenshot.
So this is going to be the start of my Insta famous
That is
career.
the best thing ever.
So
Hey, you're gonna score like hell, man.
Yeah.
You win. You
My
win the
son
internet.
Hey, my son had the same bear. That's why I was like, as soon as I saw it.
That's That's the one you made come alive, right?
That's it. So, Emily, do you know what's coming next?
Well,
I don't
No.
know.
really excited to see that.
Oh my gosh.
All right, go ahead, Rebecca. Put it up. There it is. So,
Oh,
oh
wow.
my gosh. So we found a couple things. We found a couple
Wow, I love that.
Love your setup.
Oh my goodness.
Oh gosh.
You
We
so
had
cute.
we had too many beers with Kenny last night, so we remade the photos.
Wow, hey, man.
Yeah,
Oh my
so
goodness.
It's
this is the
impressive.
start. I didn't have
Impressive.
the dress, so I had to use saran wrap.
It's amazing. It's even better.
Oh, wait,
But,
it's a
you know, and then
60
Rebecca
minute
did her editing skills on my fake hair there, but everything else is 100%.
Hey, man.
That is amazing.
That
Oh
is,
my
uh,
gosh.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Rebecca, you
It's
can take
amazing.
that off.
The saran wrap. Like really?
Oh,
Really?
Hey.
I didn't have anything else see-through. That's what
Wow.
Not
That's
Uh,
all I have.
9 on 10.
Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you. Carl, I got all my inspiration from you, Carl. Woo! I didn't know if I had enough. I
Right?
didn't know if I have enough to go through with that. So, anyways, let's see how many followers I get with those. We'll throw it for you.
Oh my goodness.
Oh gosh! All right, so I need more beer. Okay. All right, so let's talk about expectations of female influencers and how the public perceives you. This has been a really, really big topic, and honestly, is kind of what I wanted to focus on with both of you after the craziness there. So, and I know that there's been stuff that have that Emily has been involved in the past when it comes to this type of subject, and so I want to get your all's take, both of your all's take on how. On expectations of female influencers and how the public perceives you.
I'm gonna let Emily start.
Yeah. So, from my experience, I feel like they want more from you. For example, if this guy would have started an Instagram posing in shirtless pictures, everybody would be fine with it, laughing, it's funny, it's a guy. But when you're a woman and you want to be, more edgy like I do in my pictures, you need to be Cicerone highest level and to have brewed at least for 3 years and to can I just, enjoy the liquid, please?
And be what you
and
are.
be what
Amen.
I am and have the same consideration, what?
Exactly.
So this is like the pressure that I feel sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes coming from people because I'm a woman and, I'm I'm more toward a sexy image that I need to be a doctor, the biggest expert about beer to have the right to talk about beer.
Not to have just credibility, just to have the right to talk about
yeah.
beer.
Right,
So
yeah.
this is how I feel we are often perceived as women. But all of this, my mom is taking pictures.
Yeah.
She's proud. This have good because I want to shut as more doors possible for trolls. So I said, you know what? It's true. I don't have any technical beer background, so I went and I did my Cicerone beer server workshop, and I had the permit. And now, before pre-COVID, I wanted to brew, make collabs and everything, but I did it because I wanted to do it. But yeah, I feel like there is that pressure. You wouldn't have to have this questioning in his head, because people wouldn't be like, you made I don't know, like this beer is not the good yellow color. It's straw yellow. It's not bright yellow. Nobody would give a shit, but because I'm a girly girl and I'm happy, bubbly, and sexy, it's not the same thing. So, but I'm happy because now, because of them, I have more knowledge on beer, and this give me this thing like I want to learn more. I want to be able. I want to do collabs. I want to brew. I want to maybe home brew. Who knows? But yeah. So it's bad, but it have some good because it made me do something more. You know.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we have dibs on the first collab. Just FYI.
Bella.
Yeah.
All right.
Just tell me when.
Ellen, what about you?
So for me, I totally agree with Emily. You know, they want more of you no matter what you say or what you do. I feel like there's this stereotype that we have to be on all the time, and people are always like, you know nothing because you're pretty. You are just an attention seeker. You want those vanity likes.
Attention
and it's
seeker.
like, yes. And it's so crazy because like I've gone all over the country to visit different breweries and meet different people from Instagram. And it's like, wow, you know what you're talking about. Wow, you're not stuck up and bitchy. I'm allowed to say that, like, you know what you're talking about. You're just a normal person, and I'm super easygoing, and like Emily said, you use them to want to know more. I'm learning more and more every single day. I don't know everything. I never claim to know everything, but I take pride in what I do know and how far I have come since I first started my page. And it's like, we're learning. I'm learning more and more every day.
Constant. It's a constant process.
Yes.
I don't know how to say it in
it's-
English, but it's it's always a
Like a learning process.
work in progress.
It's always a work in progress.
Everything we just said.
Yeah.
So, let's see.
Oh, but
I know
also, can I just add
go
a
ahead.
little something?
Yeah, of course.
Another thing that happens to me often is people are comparing me to even more, like very sexy, like boobs and beers stuff, like just boobs and beers. So, and they're like, oh, at least you're not doing that. She's way worse than you. And I'm just like,
No.
what? Like the main goal is beer to be everywhere. I'm taking the plane, I have my craft beer. I'm going to the more snobbish hotel, I have my craft beer, So this is the goal. So why are we, oh, she's not talking the beer the right way. You should, you do it the good way. She doesn't. Shut up. People they like that, and if it's gonna make them change from their Coors Light or whatever, good, why not? I mean, if this person only, I don't know, consume pornographic images, the beer with boob is perfect with it for him. So why are you complaining? Just unfollow if you're not happy with it. Come on.
I kind of want to touch base with that because I know earlier, Emily, you said if it was a guy doing these sexy poses, it would be okay. And I know there is an Instagram with a guy. I'm sure.
Alex?
No. It's Hoppy Sloppy. Hoppy Sloppy. And shout out to my girl Hoppy Floppy. She is so genuine and so sweet.
We love
Never fails that she is just the utmost highest person. Like, she is so nice. But if you look at Hoppy Sloppy, he's a guy, and he is taking pictures that kind of imitate her work of art. And it's hilarious. But there are also so many people that hate on her, and it's like, you know what? More power to her. She is beautiful. She is taking the world by storm. Good for her. Good for her.
And because she have a big reach, she reaches more people who don't know anything about craft beer, because what they like is boobs. So when they see the thing between the boobs, they're like, what is it? And then they see it.
I want that.
I want that.
Looks good.
Yes.
That's my goal with my photos is I'm gonna it's all about the beer.
Well, you're on the right path, man.
Yes. With those two things, boy,
you'll see.
you're gonna hit hard.
On my way. All right. I am going to bring the other two back on because we don't have a whole lot of time. We got about 10 minutes left. And we'll do some Q&As. But the first question, as I'm bringing them in, I'm going to ask one question, which I'd like all of y'all to kind of jump on if you can. Hi, Eli. Hi, Matt. Welcome back.
Hey.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
So, how do you grow? Eli and Matt have kind of already talked about the following piece. But how do you grow a large following? You know, I know, Emily, when we were talking, you talked a little bit about analytics and how much you go into that piece, which honestly I think is awesome, but it's something a lot of folks don't think about. Helen, you said you didn't really do a lot of the analytics side of things, did you know? So
I used to, but
Okay.
now no. Like I used to be so obsessed with the numbers and the number of likes, how many people you reached and how many followers you were gaining, and it took over my account to the point where I'm like, I'm not enjoying this anymore. And that's when I really took a step back, and I actually took a break from Instagram because it took the fun out of craft beer. And now that I'm back full force, it's like I try not to think about that as much.
Cool. How do you guys grow a following? Emily, talk a little bit more
Sure.
about the analytics side as well.
So I have a solution for you, Ellen. So when I went, sometimes too, what was happening to me. Like I was getting anxious about posting every day and the numbers and everything. But Instagram is not about numbers and stuff. It's about algorithms. So if you post every day, even if your pictures are not beautiful, or even if you have like 2 likes on your picture, you're going to send a message to Instagram that you're doing something on Instagram. So the rule, just post once a day, it's not true. If you want to post 3 times, 4 times, 16 times a day, you can do it. And maybe some people are going to unfollow you, but there's going to be a bunch more that's going to click unfollow. So, and also people are always focusing on the post, but there are so much tools that are so less like when you post, it's like it's your life, you're so anxious, but when you can do so many more things that is less create less anxiety, but that's gonna create results. So things like super easy, instead of always doing likes in your feed, go on hashtags. For example, you like New England IPAs, just go on the hashtag IPA and just like everything and watch what's brewing in, I don't know, Alabama, what's brewing in China, what's brewing, and you're gonna click and by liking and going on hashtags and following hashtags too, because
Do nice comments too.
You gotta engage with them.
That's it. But not only, people always focus on the post, but it's like the tip of the iceberg, the post. Like, yeah, I'm not saying you like a lot, but but yeah, so you need really to be aware of all the tools. Like one thing that works very well, I got one of my friends who have a vintage boutique, like she sells
Thrift
vintage clothes, like it's thrift shop, online thrift shop. And she started with like 2 followers. And 1 year later, she's almost at 20K. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? And what she does, and I watched it, and it's true. She does that. She have like 20 slates of stories, like 20 little. But what she does, she goes, for example, on Helen's account, take one of her picture and share it in her story. It's super easy. It takes 2 seconds. You don't even have to film anything. You take the picture from another one and just post it in your story. And Instagram is like, yes, they love it, So yeah, stop focus. Like my biggest advice would be stop focusing on the post only and look all the tools that Instagram have. For example, if I want to DM you, Russ, what I will do is I'll go on your story if you have one, and I'll reply to the story instead of direct messaging you directly. To click on the message thing, I go on your story, answer to your story, because instead of doing one action, which is writing you a message, I'm doing 2 because I'm answering to a story as well. So it's all, little tiny things. And I was like Helen at one point. I was so, like, I need to post every day. Oh my God, this I only had a 5% reach. I'm more used to 10%. What's going on? And it takes the pressure away, to do all this little action that are not as overwhelming as a post, but they work as much. They do as much work in your algorithm and show Instagram that you are active and using all the tools. So yeah, that would be my advice. Explore the tools, like hashtags, follow, hashtags. Be kind, if you like the picture, instead of saying, "Oh, I like that picture," say it, write it. I like
Write
the
it. The comments are so important.
Mm.
Engagement.
Yeah.
That's it. And you make a lot of nice, you meet so many cool people. I meet people in Germany, in China, in the USA. So yes, it's all good. It's just
Yes.
fun. It brings the fun back, at least.
It does.
I agree. That's cool. Let's see. I've got a bunch of other questions here, but I'm gonna see if I can find some from some of the folks out here. I forgot we did schedule an extra 15 minutes on this panel, so it's not an hour. It's an hour and 15. So
Yeah.
so we have a little bit more time. And I like this guy's comment, so I'm gonna see if I can get it put on here. There we go. I guess I don't understand the difference. Is there money or a career involved? Can I get paid? Can I get a pension? I'd be happy with free beer. So my takeaway is, yes, you get free beer because it's all of these 4 folks on here get free beer all the time. We may or may not have done that in the past. But what about the money side of it? Is there money in it? Do you get paid?
I'll start. I have had money offered in the past, but that is something that kind of caught me off guard in the beginning. Like, this is just something I'm passionate about, and it's something I want to share on my own. And I have personally turned down money. This is just for fun for me, and I share things because I like them. If companies want to share things with me and give me free stuff, awesome, but I make it very clear that if it doesn't follow through with my brand, or if I don't like it, I'm not going to share it. I know a lot of people do this for the money and for the pension, but for me, this is what I'm passionate about, and that's why I share what I do.
Awesome.
Am I?
Go for it.
Is it?
Go.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if I was next or not. So.
Get it, girl.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you can do both, because I'm using a lot of I'm losing my influencer status to get. I'm working as a beer analyst, for example. This is how pre-COVID I was making the most of my money. So I use my status to be able to, my next goal would be to talk about beer on radio, because everybody, they all have somebody who talk about wine, but nobody who talks about beer. So I'm using the status, I'm building the status to be able to have jobs that are outside of an influencer, because like Helen, I like to post, but I don't like to be stuck in a square. And I said no to many, and the big breweries, sometimes they have a lot of money, and but no, there's some things that I don't want to, touch. For me, it's, do I like it or not? If I do, I do it. If I don't, I don't. But yeah, so I'm using this status to be able to get jobs outside of Instagram, because I love beer, but I want to be an actress. So I'm using my status to be able to do radio, and then radio TV, and and then they're gonna see me more in the Quebecois, showbiz, and then maybe an acting gig. So this is why I'm trying to. Yes, I accept paid gigs, but for me, is more to get reach outside of the Instagram thing, because I'm a woman, and I want to get pregnant at some point. So I can do radio, but I cannot, post me drinking beer on Instagram. So yes, so this is how I use my status, and this is why I'm working so much to build my audience, because I want to be able to, make my mark in Quebec here. Yes. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Matt or Eli?
but you can. I think.
Yes, I am.
At the end is you choose. Like Helen, she don't want to get paid. That's fine. I'm an artist and I need sometimes, there's holes in my career, so I need the money. So
Girl, more power
so
to you.
What's that?
I said more power to you. Take everything that you can get.
That's it. So I'm trying as much as I can, and I'm pushing a lot on because on travel, and I'm working. I've been working with the New Brunswick government last winter to do like we're doing right now, but two New Brunswick breweries, because it's the place in North America where is the most breweries per capita. So they're like going crazy. There's too many breweries, not enough people. So, this is why I'm working so much to build my audience, because I want to be able to make a difference, but deeper, not just only on the gram. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Matt and Eli?
What's that?
What's that?
I was just seeing can you guys hear me or no?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
I was asking Matt or Eli, do you guys get paid for any of the stuff that you do online?
I can start off on that. I used to get I used to accept free beer more often. Just lack of time, and also a lot of my shots take hours. So it's a little bit more challenging. It's not like I'm just, let me plop it down and shoot something really quick. That's not my photography. My photography is a ton of setup and lights and then editing and Photoshop. So a lot of the breweries that I did have a relationship where they were sending me beer. If they sent me a couple of beers and I didn't post anything, they kind of dropped off the map. And again, I think it's all about I only posted things I really liked. I only wanted to promote things I really liked. I'm happy to do it when it's something that I'm passionate about and it's a brewery I'm passionate about. But I've had a lot of breweries reach out, and it's just I make the comment hey, if I love something and I'm inspired something, I am all about doing it. But if I'm not spending my time. That being said, I am a professional photographer. So if you guys want to talk to me about freelance, I'm all ears. I'm just saying, I will shoot the shit out of your beer and make it look great. So hit me out. But
Yeah.
I'm not about getting a box. And if there's something I'm like, oh, this name's great, this can art's killer, I have this awesome vision, I'm gonna spend 4 hours doing a shot, that's on me. That's something that I'm proud about and something I want to promote and put out into the world. And I'll do it, and I'll gladly do it for that. But the places that send stuff and then they're like, well, or they won't send anything after I make that comment. Okay, next. I mean, there's the great thing about craft beer is there's a ton of places, a ton of people are putting out amazing products. Next,
Exactly. Yeah.
What about you, Matt? Making any money off of it?
Well, let me first say that when any brewery reaches out and says, hey, we want to send you a bunch of beer for some stories, for some posts, I do the exact same thing. And that's just, I make them aware that it's got to be a beer I like. I won't even get the big camera out unless the beer is good. So I keep it a positive feed that way by, there's never a bad review. So I'm not a review Instagram profile. I'm more about the art of making beer and the art of capturing the beer that was made and my experience with the beer. It's got to be a positive thing. But yes, if a company comes at me and says, hey, we want some product shots done, I've done that in the past. I've done that for a lot of local breweries in Bend, Deschutes Brewery, Boneyard, Silver Moon Brewery. I've done a lot of product shots for those guys and a lot of paid for posting for them. But it's really, I mean, if you gotta, it's a hobby. Craft beer is a hobby, so it's got to be a positive thing, and that's why I only post beers I absolutely love. Other than review posts are great. I love review posts, but I don't like even shedding a negative light on anything in craft beer. So it's got to be a positive thing.
So the answer is yes and no, unless you're Kenny with hot culture, and then you get paid.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I could take a photograph for a brewery and then not post it, but that brewery might post it, and as a marketing piece, I'm fine with that. But when I'm posting something and I'm writing, a lot of my posts are about not just the photograph, but a lot of the reasons why I don't post these days is I'm so busy and my mind's so all over the place. I need to come up with a good writing for the post, and so it has to be a love, and I can't write anything negative about anybody. So I'm gonna just always go for the beer I love to talk about. So it's kind of the piece and the post. So.
Cool.
Yes.
Well, I will say, as a new Insta famous person, as of about 15 minutes ago, you can pay me. I'll drink your beer and I'll put it up for 956 people to see.
Yeah.
All right. What about this one? Hashtags. How important are they?
They are important to me. Everybody just said nothing.
I nodded.
I swear.
Yeah, hashtags.
I hate that they're needed, but they are needed.
They are needed.
So,
yes. It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah,
me too.
very much so.
What's with, and I know everybody does this now, and we have a brewery, and I watch us do it, and my wife runs our page. I don't know anything about Instagram, but I asked this question the other day, is why do they post a picture and then a separate block of all the hashtags afterwards? And Emily had an answer for that, but I don't remember what it was.
Spam.
The answer was it's because it's going to be considered as a spam. So, those weird account with 60K followers and following 0, and they don't have a profile pictures, and these kinds of
No
accounts.
posts.
No post, but 60K. What? Anyway, so yeah. So if you do that, like, I would say not more than 10 hashtag, and it's very maximum with your post, and on the comments after up to 30 hashtags. And it's important that you vary those hashtags. I have a note in my cell phone, and I just have like hashtags for stouts, hashtags for travels, hashtags for with beer, hashtags for whatever, and I just jazz into these hashtags. And there is some hashtags that always come back, like for a brand it's very important, like hashtag la petite bière. So I always put that, because when, for example, Beer Selfie or another repost page reposts me, I can follow through the hashtag. I can follow it and see, oh, these guys reposted me. I can say thank you and not look like a diva, like, oh, cool, you posted it, I don't care, like, say thank you for sharing. I try. It's very important for me, to say thank you and be, appreciate things, and yeah. So yeah, hashtags are very important, and yeah, don't put it all in your publication.
I'll add on to that too. With hashtags, you, like she said, you always want to be
about it.
You always want to be changing them out as well. And then in addition, if you put something like Insta Beer or like one of those ones that have 200,000 likes already, it's kind of going to get lost. So you almost want to look for the hashtags that have like 10,000 or 15,000 or something smaller. So if you have a popular post, yours will float to the top of that hashtag. So
that's a good point.
I think we lost Emily.
I was going to say, did you lose me? Am I? I didn't know where it was.
All right. Let's see here. Hang on. I'm gonna. Let's see if I can find another question. She's back. She'll be back on in 2 seconds. How crucial are influencers to the actual brewery and marketing? Mike asks.
I'll say something. I know that a lot of smaller, newer breweries, they just want to get their name out there. So they do go reach out to these influencers, and just like I know the breweries that reach out to me, they're like, hey, can I send you some beer? Sure, I love free beer. But at the same time, it's like we've all said, we let them know, like, if I like it, I'll share it. If I don't, I don't. I always typically will share things on my story. But I feel like for new breweries, up and coming breweries that are trying to get their name out there, influencers are super important, because now in the days of TV ads, radio ads, magazine ads, it's not a thing. It's social media. Social media is where you go to get your name out there, get your word out there, whatever you want. Social media is so important. It's 2020, as you know, it's just how it is these days. So I think influencers are important, and we are able to share certain things with a certain crowd. Yeah.
Cool. Well,
totally
yeah, I agree too. And honestly, I think from the other side of it too, we as breweries are starting to figure out who knows their stuff and who doesn't. And so I think, us being able to view what you're drinking and what you're saying about it. And honestly, we talked a lot about women in the industry and how some of your opinions may be discounted sometimes by some jokers that probably know far less about beer than you all do. But it's cool for us to see folks that appreciate beer and love beer, and then send them stuff and I'm excited about it. And so I think it's very important. I've sent everybody on this band beer. Tried to send Emily beer a year and a half ago, and she didn't want to give us her address. But
No.
no, I'm joking. She missed the message on us. But all right, hey, honestly, it has been a great pleasure. I wish we could keep going, but Kenny is sitting here next to me, about to jump on the adjunct panel, which is going to be awesome. And he's nervous and he needs a beer. And but we will. We'll stay in touch, and maybe we can do a big collab with everybody. And
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But I honestly greatly appreciate what you guys do. Keep killing it. Keep knowing good beer. And keep empty again.
Oh, Matt, what are you doing?
oh no.
Hey, last shameless plug. Our brewer Rachel started an Instagram account called Bibs,
Boots, and beers. Yeah, Rachel.
She's killing it. All right. Much love to all you all. Thank you so much. We'll stay in touch.
Yeah. Have fun.
Guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers,
Cheers, guys.
That was so fun.
Yeah.
Woo! We continue the party.
Yeah, I know, right?
Bye.
Ciao.
Mwah.
Mwah. Yes, this is how the French do it.
Yeah.
Peace.